Inflation is the increase in the prices of goods and services over time. For example, if you go to a grocery store with 500 rupees, you can buy fewer items today than you could 10 years ago, which means the purchasing power of money has decreased over time. There are two main factors that cause inflation. Demand-driven factors. Imagine a fruit seller having 5 apples for sale at 10 rupees each. Now if 5 consumers come to buy, they all will get them at 10 rupees each. However, what happens if 10 consumers come to buy them? This situation results in increased demand while supply is limited, allowing the seller to raise the price of an apple to 20, 30 or even 50 rupees. This mismatch in demand and supply leads to inflation. Cost-driven factors. This occurs when there is a rise in the production cost for businesses, like an increase in the price of raw materials or an increase in the salary of employees. Consider the previous example of the fruit seller. If the price of fertilizers used to grow apple rises, or if the cost of petrol used in the truck for delivering the apples increases, the fruit seller will need to pay more for the apples. As a result, he will raise the prices for consumers as well. Does this mean that inflation is bad? Although high inflation is considered harmful, a small amount of inflation is beneficial for economic growth. An increase in moderate spending by consumers will boost economic activities. If inflation remains zero, that means weak demand. In the previous example of the fruit seller, if there are fewer consumers buying apples, the fruit seller will consequently buy less from the farmer. This reduction in demand will lead the farmer to grow fewer apples, resulting in decreased production and job creation, which will negatively impact GDP. Who controls inflation? Primarily MPC, which comes under RBI, uses various monetary policy tools like repo rate, reverse repo rate, SLR and CRR to maintain inflation between 2% and 6%. If you would like to learn more about the repo rate, reverse repo rate and MPC, please have a look at my video titled What is Repo Rate? I will include the link in the description. The first and most common tool used is the repo rate. If RBI increases the repo rate, banks will have to pay more interest to RBI, so they will also raise the interest rates on loans for customers. As a result, people will take fewer loans and spend less. The second is the reverse repo rate. Here, banks can keep their surplus funds with the RBI, for which they will get interest from the RBI. Now, banks will have less money to give loans to customers. The third is CRR, which stands for Cash Reserve Ratio. It is the mandatory percentage of a bank's total deposits that it must keep with the RBI rather than using it for lending or investment. Here, banks will not get interest on CRR. The fourth is SLR, which stands for Statutory Liquidity Ratio. It is the minimum percentage of deposits that a bank has to maintain in the form of cash, gold or other securities with itself. This is crucial during an emergency when there might be a sudden increase in customer withdrawals. A real-world event was the Yes Bank crisis in March 2020, which led to a significant increase in customer withdrawals. So, when RBI increases the repo rate, reverse repo rate, SLR or CRR, it leads banks to have less money for lending, which in turn makes loans more expensive for customers. Customers will now take fewer loans, and if they have less cash in hand, they will spend less, leading to decreased demand, helping to control inflation. But what about those people who are not taking loans from banks? For them, RBI uses a tool called Open Market Operation (OMO), where RBI sells government securities to absorb cash from the public. If you would like to learn more about the government securities, please have a look at my video titled What is Repo Rate? I will include the link in the description. Now, as people have invested their money in bonds, they have less cash in hand to spend, which in turn results in controlled inflation. Although RBI is primarily responsible for controlling inflation, the government also uses fiscal policies like increasing taxes, leading consumers to spend less and thereby controlling inflation. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it.